Well, hello, and welcome. This is Joanna the Jewel Design, and we are here today. Hopefully, a lovely Tuesday morning. Well, I guess it wouldn't be morning, but Tuesday afternoon for you guys. I always forget I do these things at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, since that seems to makes the most sense for you guys. Most of my subbies come in early evenings, late, sometimes, late night too, or first thing in the morning, so it covers all bases. Oh, goodness. Okay, so today I decided we're going to go from Christmas to fall, a little backwards. But I know a few people, people have been, those who are huge Halloween lovers, have been doing Halloween since July, of course. There are those who did Christmas in July with the rest of us. And I know August is right around the corner, and it's really weird for me because usually kids start school and you start getting ready for fall, right? You do fall decor, you do fall journals, you get yourself ready to enjoy months of fall. Even though officially fall's not to the 20th of July or 20th of September. And for some people, we really don't feel fall, if we are lucky, till mid-October. So, anyway. But I wanted to start a new project. Well, I didn't want to start a new project. I felt I needed to start a new project with you guys, right? Something different. We've done blues, we've done purples, we've done, botanical with the altered book. We've been doing a lot of the same projects, and occasionally something new pops up. So I figured, like we did the summer beach journal, and we've done large, floral botanical journals, so on and so forth. We've done that. We did the Christmas folios. We were going to work on a envelope flip out creation. A lot of different envelopes and things with flaps that allow us to move things in and out, right? Into a large double envelope that may allow us, if I decide I want to sew in either just light digitals, vellum, coffee dye papers. Maybe there will be a small journal in here. It may just be like coffee dye papers and a couple of my favorites, light backgrounds on some vellum, printable vellum, just to have something pretty in the middle. We'll see how thick this turns out, because right now everything has multitudes going on. And in some places we are using not only junk mail, like junk envelopes, we're using envelopes that are in the shop, we're using bags that are in the shop. All of this can probably be used to some point brand new. If you like brand new, you like the craft papers. I mean, we have craft envelopes this size. We have craft envelopes this size. Not many, but we have some. We will be using our tiny little craft envelopes, right? We've got bags. We've got this CD envelopes. So there's a lot of bits and pieces in here that if you don't have it, we do have it in small quantities. And then otherwise, go through your stash like I did. I went through all my different things and went, what do I have and what cool sizes can we use? And then what can we do with it, right? So today is gluing things down, getting it constructed so it's all flipped out so we can start inking and start laying down all these lovely papers that are sitting behind me here to start constructing this. So I'm wearing these gloves today. If you watch me, it's not norm. I did a lot of work this last week on my daughter's oldest room. We repainted the whole room, took everything down, boxed it up, moved things out, condensed things, painted the whole room, because the whole room is 13 years old in the sense of color. And, so I overdid my arms, my wrists, my fingers. Right, so they hurt a little bit, so some compression sleeves and gloves are definitely in play, so I can keep doing stuff since we still have a desk to make and yard work to do and all kinds of stuff. But I want to take a break and do this with you this week. And then by looking for these pages, of course, I found 2 other small projects that we'll work on. So we're going to do a little bit of back and forth, both normal and fall, for the next week or 2. And then, it's going to be hit and miss as we do stuff. So maybe little sections. I found this in my stuff. Someone must have given it to me. Either my mom or one of our subbies sent it to me. It's a beautiful heart, and it's in just a pale green, blue, and brown. And I think it's a great colors for this, and I think it's going to look gorgeous on top of this. And I'm hoping this background is going to help some of this pop. So on and so forth. So I started pulling stuff from my stashes. Like, I didn't just pull out all my Christmas, right? Oh my gosh. Put that all away. And now I'm back to this. So let's get this constructed today and start eyeballing. I have some pieces that I know what I want to do with. And then I'm not sure about the rest, right? So I have some 12 by 12 thin, like scrapbook paper. This is going to be to help fill some dark spots, maybe not cluster, but like scrap corners, things like that. I took two of my background pages from my autumn gathering kits. I have autumn gathering 1 and 2, volumes 1 and 2, and I believe, you know, these sit within those. Probably lighter in the backgrounds, or lighter in the background, you know, like 50%, so you can use them as writing pages. But I went back to my original and boosted them, so I want that color to stick out, but not so bright that we can't see what the heck we can't really see all the bright colored stuff I want to work with. So we're gonna work on that. But I saw these and I went, okay, I haven't used them. I've had them for a couple years. I'm like, I haven't used them yet. It looks like I may have thought to fold that into something, but haven't used them yet, so it's time to do so in some capacity. Okay. And now it's the fun. Now it's just getting it together. So I have numbers of coin. I have a coin envelope here. I have greeting cards. I have bags. I was at a PG&E one. And I think the reason I kept it was because for some reason I got it and it was craft paper. And I was like, PG&E was sending me something with craft paper. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how could I not enjoy that? So we got a CD holder. It's going to be our front. I'm hoping we're going to put something cute here. Layer it up, put some glitter in it, make it more of a shaky shake, as my mom just mentioned for Tim Holtz. Sort of a shaky shake type ordeal, even though you're not going to like shake your whole journal, but I want to put some glitter and some movement in this front cover, so it won't be a pocket. But it opens us up on the front to I know my daughter's name, but into a craft, which we don't have this size. This would be a cool size to have. We don't have that size. I found someone had as a gift card craft envelope, which we will use actually as a pocket. But it houses our mini craft envelopes that will also be a pocket with a white envelope tucked in here to connect to this, and this one will be glued to the back of that one. And when you open it, this white one will be closed. This was probably an invitation type envelope. And we will do a light covering on this one, like what's left over somewhere, who knows what. But I want to put the polka dot in here and use this to like put a topper on it, make it a pocket this way instead of keep tucking things into envelopes. So that's going to get pocketed here, closes up. Then the whole thing will open, right, because it's all tucked in. Yes, okay. We'll open and we'll have this beautiful page here, which will be one aspect of this with a cute and we'll add some extra something fussy cut and floral to this to pop it, because even though it's going to be tucked underneath this, not by much, not a whole lot of it will be, not too much of it will be tucked under. So we'll make this pop or go down the side, or we'll do something to where this is a nice vibrant thick front cover to the book. Or I don't know what to call it. I haven't decided what to call this yet. It is an envelope journal cover. With a lot of flips, little flip out moments, right? I love doing these. We did something, I don't know why I love doing these. It's fun. I never do it the same way. I don't know if there is a specific way to do it, but, and then on the inside, one we have this is going to be an outside flap, which we're definitely going to glue down. But I wanted to cover the inside here. But I wanted to put this down and decorate it, and I wanted to put like a bookmark in here. So if we do put a journal in here, you're going to have some kind of an autumn bookmark, tall, skinny bookmark to put in your journal if you want, or in your own book. I always pull out my fall. I have a bookmark in my fall journal, or I've used the past couple of years, and I always pull it out and I put it in whatever book I'm reading. And then when fall is done, I put the bookmark back in my journal and tuck it away. I think I even have one for Christmas now. So it's one of those things that it's sort of in your fall journal that you maybe pull out seasonally or whatever, and you can pull it out and use that lovely bookmark. So we're going to put a bookmark in this utensil bag. We have sets of these, also 2 different types of browns and a white. We're going to use one of the whites too. But yeah, we're going to sort of somewhat center this one, or lightly off center it. Okay. And we will put something pretty in. We will stick paper in here, so I got to make sure I keep that open. So I'll stick that in before I forget. But with something where it peeks through here, and then we're going to collage around the rest of it. So you've seen a number of us do this, where we've collaged around a window envelope. Sometimes we fold them up, make extra pockets, but you collage around the window, you tuck something in to peek through. So we're still going to do that effect here. We're just going to use the back side. I do have washing here so that when we glue these two together, we're going to sort of cover up them through the middle. Because our papers I want to butt them close to the middle, but not on top of it to make it easy to sew something in. But this one, I know it's gold. I hate to cover it all up. I don't think the nice thing with this one is we're going to tuck it here, and I don't need to cover this. I can leave this gold and just cover on the outside yellow. But we're going to tuck it in about middle, okay? And this one is going to have something pretty underneath it, but we're going to do a flip up. We will cut this a little short and concave it, so it is something that's going to journal card will stick up in it. You would just pull it down from the bottom. Maybe we'll put a tab. We do enough of a dot. Maybe put a tab there so you know to pull it out. But we're going to flip it up. I'm going to flip it down originally, but then we have to worry about it, opening up all the time. So I think we're going to go this way with that. And as you can see, there's something here. But we're going to open it, all right? This one's going to be hidden. You won't even know what's there once it's down. We're going to cover this up, the yellow, but we're going to leave the gold open. We're going to glue this down. And we're going to use this white one. Again, we're going to close this pocket again. I'm going to keep closing up the white pockets on these envelopes. But we're going to attach another, this is the white utensil bag. And we're going to make it a pocket here and a pocket up here. So I can either leave the gussets, which maybe we'll make it a double pocket in its own right. We'll have two skinny things in here. One back, one front. Make a little notch here to make it easier to tell. And then you will have this bottom section, if I can do it right, that will have its own, another pocket right here. So it's a little bit skinnier in our things, but we're going to have some skinny pieces left over from some of these cardstock pieces covering the inside and out, the front and back. We're going to have some skinny strips left over. So one, we're going to use it to help collage this because it's really tall. But we're also going to be able to make some maybe skinnier bookmarky, type tags to go in here. So we're going to have that going on. So this is going to get covered, but it's also going to get, decorated and glued down. So, and then inside I found this lovely thing. It was a great black and yellow, which, okay, a little dark, but I like the basics. I think we can enhance it. I think we can cover up some of this one and the back to hide the things. And there's a card inside that is cream in nature. And so we'll probably cover the inside of this and use it as a base also for a journal card. So just utilizing it. I saw the gold string. This may easily pop off. I may cut it shorter. I may cut it shorter and put a bow on it or make it a smaller thing. And then we'll use the rest of the gold elsewhere. So I saw it. I thought it was sort of pretty. It sort of went with this feel. I have a general idea, I think, of what we're going to put on the outside. So maybe what's left of that page can go here and hope it's a nice accent to the gold. So that is the tentative plan there. I know I went through that pretty quickly, but as we're gluing it down, you sort of know what we're attempting to do in every aspect as I go along. But I think our biggest thing to start off with is going to be getting this constructed. So parts of me is like really hesitant to take it apart, but luckily it's all sort of clipped together. It's so funny, all these envelopes have my daughter's name on it. Apparently from graduation and stuff. Like, huh, interesting. But we can actually glue all those together, can't we? Okay, so let's see. Maybe we'll start with this only because it is what it is. Might make my life a little easier. Right now, I'm really doing this end. Where's my glue? Oops, here's my glue. Where's my glue thing? I had it off for photos and stuff. I'm like, why did I have this off? Well, I did some shorts and stuff, and I notice when I do the shorts and the reels, if I have this on it, it picks up a glare, and so it doesn't make it the best, I don't know, ordeal. And we're going to do the back side of this one. Now, I'm pretty much making sure everything we use has a flap, and unless it's the bag, but then it's getting glued down onto something, because I definitely want to keep things constructed according to, oh geez, come on. I guess I should have thought about that. Get in there. So that might work, actually. Let's go that way. Did I do it? No, a little off. But, so what were these? Evie Core Healthcare. Oh, okay. One of our bills, apparently. I'm like, I don't know what that was exactly. And it is sticking and it's not working in my favor. Okay, hold on. Thought that was gonna work, except that it's not on the right fold. I don't know if I can do this with the gloves. I was really hoping to leave the gloves on, but you know what? It feels weird. I feel like I'm gonna get glue all over them. It's alright. I think my biggest thing is the pain in my elbow, so it's fine. Let's try this again. And I always go add. It's like I know we need the strip and we need it to set inside each other. But hold on, guys. I know I'm doing this probably off camera, so sorry. But let's push it in. Thank God for the glitter or for the glue stick, but pick it in, but yeah, down a little farther maybe, or find that spot. I don't know. We may just end up refolding it wherever we need to, and not straight. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of space top and bottom here, which we are going to cover with some, and then we're just going to fold that best we can. Now we are going to do panel work like we always do. We'll ink everything, but I'm going to do just like we did with the, what did we do last that I did it and I was like, okay guys, I think with one of our last projects, like with this one, we're going to be pretty clean cut and we're going to keep it nice and square. We're not going to do the deckled edge thing, because when we do that, it seems like I end up with you know, uneven spaces. Things are skewed. I think we'll keep it nice and clean. If we do anything, it's going to be more ripped edges and corners, and we'll use we'll leave it to the decor to be a little less precise, right? Then we can decal. Then we can have fun with it. So I already cut this. I love this washi. Oh, not quite top to bottom though. I was really hoping. Well, I can always cut another piece maybe. I really want it nice and tight, as close as I can to in here, because now we got rips and tears. It's sort of a cool thing, but I know it's like mishapped and it's turned backwards and it's, gotta love where you get it from. But lately it's been my saving grace when it's come to some of our journal creations lately. Get tight. Where I have had to do things like this, where I need just a little bit, and I'll take our chances here. Need a little bit of extra support, and it's a great width. I've cut them in half, and I've done it that way too. I haven't used the whole thing. I've cut it in half and used it. But yeah, no, it's time to work it. Hope you're all doing really, really well. I can't believe we are officially, yep, the last week of August. I keep thinking August 1st is on Thursday, and it's Friday. I don't know why I'm not realizing July has 31 days. I keep forgetting about that. And as busy as we are, you would think that wouldn't be a problem. I'm going to try not to get my head in here. It's curly on top, but still. So what I want to do is I do want to cover inside here to give us emphasis. I was going to do it on the outside. And then, as I go back, I could do front and back. I really want to make sure this is secure. So not only are we doing the washi to make sure this doesn't rip, I also use cardstock instead of just like 32-pound bright white paper to cover front and back to make this thicker in general as a cover. So when sometimes we use press board, sometimes we use fabric and bag, sometimes we use fabric and tissue, anything to make it a little stiffer and a little thicker to go about what we need to do. Now, the thing we have to keep in mind is the front we can cover, the back we can cover once I put the extension, but you always want to make sure that when you do your next layer that you are hiding whatever tab necessary. So there's the, interesting. The way I do this, I have to decide which way I'm going, because I realize either way, I have one side or the other off. Interesting. Okay, well, it is what it is. Yeah, so you want to make sure, you know, whatever we do, that you have a nice firm, what's the word, cover. And I love the envelope thing, and I've done it many times, but what I'm noticing is I don't realize as I'm doing it that I need just a little bit more substance. And you really want to make sure that even if it is a lookbook, even if it's no matter how thin, little, or, you know, insignificant you think it might be. Sorry guys, I don't know if I'm going to be straight on this one. I think I goofed on that a little bit. Okay. Not the smartest. Envelopes are a struggle because as you're working on it, inside and out, see, that's going totally sideways. And luckily it is a washi to a point. Huh. Okay. Anyway, just going to do it on the inside and allowing the outside to be inked. And I don't mind that it's just going to look like a crinkled, except crinkled means it doesn't fit the way I wanted it to. Oh, cheese and crackers. Now, I am not putting pockets in these covers, but that's, you know, again, because I'm using cardstock, it's going to help reinforce all this. It's okay if it's crinkled. Because I think we're going to glue, you know, glue in our envelope here, so we can almost do a perfect cut there, which does remind me then. Okay, so there's that. But I think we're going to do, I was debating on the outside too, on this now, because I feel like if we're not careful, we're going to see this right here. This was the only downside, was that I wasn't sure how well we were going to see some stuff. So what I'm going to do, especially this side, I want to make sure that when we do our, this is going to be a bummer. I know this is going to work for me or not. I want to make sure when we do our top layer, that will take the white off, but this gives you a feel for what it would look like, right? We want to do it to where when we cut, with the same white sort of border that's now been inked all the way around. So that means we would see this extend out, even though our paper ends here, we would see this little something. And I don't really want to see that. So I'm cutting it a little lower up to this. Now, what I could do is ink this outside and we could put lace. Lace helps us decide then maybe to put the paper all the way up against the edge and only letting the margins be the matting of this white on the top, side, and bottom. And then we sort of hide the fact that that paper goes all the way over by putting a thin lace border. But see, on this side, I definitely want to cover in far enough because we don't want to see any of that black. So we want that really thin, barely visible white that we're going to ink. So we'll ink it, we'll see how it goes. And so maybe I won't do the washi because even with that good piece, it was still short. It might not be short enough. And we panel it, we're going to see it. So we're just going to ink it, and if it bugs us afterwards, we can then put lace on it. So that is my back. I decided I wanted to put the extra flap on the back side. So if it was bumpy at all, it's on the back. It doesn't really interfere with the beautiful design at the front. I see that, yeah, after all our messing around, it did not stay too glued down. The goal is to hide all your flap and keep it sort of a seamless, non-sew. It's got pressure in there. No, that's not good. You know, a no-sew ephemera piece, no-sew envelope journal cover is the best way. Now, I just realized we are going to cover the inside with the browns. What do I do with the browns? And with that, do that one there, and then I think we'll do this one over here. I mean, I got both pieces. I can decide either way. Bottom and top, maybe darker in the back, lighter in the bottom. And I had to do 2 of these because it took up almost the whole page, but this way didn't work. I couldn't cut them in half. Good size envelopes. Huge envelopes. But I'm going to want to go almost all the way up again. Almost all the way up to the edge. You know, I'm almost tempted, but then this side doesn't have it. I have to measure it to where maybe we leave the white here, and then we just cut it short. The other 2 ends, we cut it a little short, where I'm barely leaving a white envelope. No, then I can tell I have envelopes on one end and paper on another. And that is messed up. Huh, there's a hole there. Oh, you know what? We're covering that end. That'll help. But I will do, I mean, it's not perfection, but I'm using a little bit of a white jelly pen to see if I can remove some of this, because I can't tell if it's thin or if it's stained, and it might be thin. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I mean, the only difference would be to do it this way and bring the paper up to it, so that, but then I have 2 creases on the outside and I don't want to do that. Okay, nope. All right, so before we can do the outside back, we have to glue this down. Right, same ordeal though. We are definitely, paper's going to be pretty much edge to edge in some areas because of the fact that I don't really want to see. That's white, that's brown. Ink it considerably. Center it. We're going to see brown in places, which I didn't think about. When you swap colors where it's not all brown, it's not all white, you will see certain things pop up when you panel the paperwork, the papers. So I guess we are going to cover edge to edge, almost like we did with these. I think I left a small bit. Like I left just a little bit when we had to, or tried to, but like that ended up covering almost completely because that was the point. I didn't want to see the yellow, so I tried to cover. Oh, I tried. A little bit hard to do. The other ones I tried to cover almost completely. So I think we're just going to do that. We're going to try to cover as much as we can, inking everywhere we can with antique to blend the concept of the brown and the white and make the most of it. Okay, so again, I think we'll do this. So this is going to get attached to the back, which it's ripped, so that helps a little bit. And we're going to keep this sealed, so I think that helps in a number of ways. Let's see if we can do this nice and snug. Snug it as straight as we can with the envelope that we have going. I think it'll be okay. There we go. When enough rooms, we can open and close it and not feel it bulges. But then we're going to, oh no, I can't seal this one yet. See, I almost did that. That would have been bad. Once I have the paper in here so we can see our peekaboo, then I can seal it if I want to, which I probably will. I don't know if I want to, everything else going on, because I can see that red. Well, if I cover this, I might leave this open. I haven't decided. Because if I put something pretty here, the only thing I could do is just put a half journal card down here. Right, where you can't really, you wouldn't see it here, but it would be potentially, you know, sticking out right here, and you might notice it. But that then means I have to do this whole cut thing where you put it inside and you have to, you know, you have to measure it and then cut it and put it back down. So we'll see. We'll see how I'm doing with it. I may not want to, just because I may just want to cover this really nicely. Put this down and be done with it, but we have to get that one page inserted for sure. And if I do that right inserted, you'll see it. It'll be white on the back. Yep, we're going to have to cover. So we're going to cover this perfectly once the proper page is inside for our peekaboo. Which I'll have to keep that in mind as I'm working on stuff to see what I want to peekaboo up here. Whether it's a base piece of paper that I put a fussy cut there on purpose. Seal it, ain't gonna matter. Alright, so there's that one. And we need to, before we cover this side, we actually do need to glue down at least these two. Okay, so what we'll do is here we're gonna open it and start constructing it inside out, or if it makes sense, inside out. We're going to, we know that this one, I know it makes it in the way a little bit, but I would love to cover it, but I just don't want things to be out of, I want to make sure everything is where we want it to be. I'm not stressing over what is up with my glue. Alright, so we're going to put this, I think I want this one on the bottom of the page, or bottom of one, trying to offset things a little bit if I can help it, if I can. And then this one goes in here. That goes outside, so let's do carefully. Yeah, not get glue on everything. I don't know, this is where the other would probably be more helpful, but I want to make sure it stays though too. So, oh, goodness gracious. Okay, well, that's gonna be fun. I didn't close it up tight enough, I guess. It's leaking. Great. Ugh, I have a new bottle, and I have a feeling it's gonna get used real soon here. Oh, you're leaking everywhere. Isn't that fun? Okay. This has to go on the bottom here also. Oh, no, maybe. Yeah, that's fine. I'm all distracted by that bottle. Eek. All right, let's make sure we are where we need to be. Okay, there we go. Now this one's getting closed anyway, so let's utilize that. Oh, it is just a mess. I loosened it up, but it's not that loose anymore. What the heck happened? Here, let's see if we can do this. Hate to waste anything, right? It's on my finger. Let's use the silicone finger, which, if you guys ever bought a starter journal kit from us recently, we do have them in the kit. So we'll get a hold of a few. Not as many as I was hoping. I was really hoping to put them in, get them in bulk. Because they're not, I kept looking them up and there's a bunch of thumb thimbles, but that's not what I'm looking for per se. Or, sewing thimbles. But that's not really what I'm looking for. So we're going to seal this completely, or as completely as I can. Alright, so that goes there. Well, let's put, carefully, hopefully, we can paperclip this to this one. I think we're all good. That goes there. And then these two get glued together. And then they both go, what did I want? I wanted it a little lower for the front. Right, I wanted that offset. So when you opened it, but the nice part is that this would cover all of it. Or it's going on the inside, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. I just don't know what happened there. It's just like it spewed all of a sudden. But the pressure is not there, so I don't know what happened. Afraid if I open it, I'm going to find stuff everywhere. So yeah, it's definitely why I don't use, let's see what happens. It's going to pop out, or I didn't need all that glue down the bottom, but yep, it keeps leaking. Okay, so something is wrong with my, nope, out of the way. Something is definitely wrong with my bottle. Well, isn't that fun? Okay, now as long as I can still get in here, which, yes, I can still get in there, which is my biggest thing. And the mess that I have right now. Okay, so then these guys need to be glued down. Those are glued down together here. That's what, okay, that does make sense. All right. Oh my gosh, what the heck happened? Like I have to. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me pause for a second and see what this mess is all about. Okay, well, I think I cleaned up most of the mess. Cheese and crackers. Right, I think I took care of the mess. I mean, it's gooing out now, but not from the bottom at least anymore. So, I put these guys here. Oh, it's my Fitbit. I'm like, what is beeping at me? Something's beeping at me, but I'm not sure what is. Of course, it's probably my daughter in the middle of everything I'm doing right now. She's at boot camp, got through the first week. Woohoo. So tired. Poor thing. I think she pretty much hurt from top of her head to the bottom of her toes. The aches and pains were like from in her neck and her shoulders, and using all these lovely muscles that she's not used to. But then the back of the head and whatnot would be more from the fact that she kept smacking herself with the, that's just gooing. From the back of the pole in her, from her pole, she kept smacking herself with her thing. Poor thing. Oh, okay, class of 2029. Chromebook pickup, okay. Nope, everybody else. Okay, that works. Alright, my friend was busy. Anyway, no, I couldn't get a hold of one of my friends today because we were just super busy, and I was busy, she was busy. I was like, oh man. I felt really bad that I didn't get back to her, and she's like, nope, we weren't even home, it's okay, it didn't, and all of a sudden you have to change your plans, right? So things are a little offset, I noticed, but it's okay. So we got that. We have that. So we can, oh no, there we go, open up. So we can put something in here, which I have a feeling we're going to try to shove a piece of paper in there. I just glued all that down terribly, didn't I? We'll probably put a piece of paper in here to hide the white. We're going to put a piece of paper in here, right, so we can see it through here. And then we'll seal it once I put all the glitter and all the fun in it. We want to make sure that's all pretty and fun too. So we'll cover front and back. We'll do, decor on the, why this thing is just gooing. There are just some days, right? You just have a mess no matter what. I'm trying to open it up to see why the pressure is not, why there's so much pressure in there. I'm like, well, I'm glad it's there, but I don't know. No matter what you do, glue bottles are always temperamental. There's glue up in the thing, and so it just wants to keep spewing out, which is not what I want. Okay, so shaky here, pocket here, bag on the top of here. Then you close this all up and you open it again. This, which I thought moved there for a second, is just going to be covered for something pretty. So we have a pretty here, pretty with pretty pocket, covered. Yeah, I don't know, there's plenty to cover. We have front, like that's just a pretty, that's just a pretty pocket, cute, pretty pocket. And then this, of course, is a bag pocket on top of the envelope. And this will be pretty with a gorgeous thing up in the corner. Okay, but I want to make sure that we had the right flaps in place, because if we didn't, right, we would have problems. And to go to cover things up, and we wouldn't be able to cover anything up because we'd have all these flaps that would not be hidden. And that's never fun. We want to make sure we hit. Now, you can, if you ever forget, cover the flaps and glue top and bottom and turn them into tucks. Ever forget, you're like, oh, I want to add something in, it becomes an automatic tuck where the flap is. Just cover it to make it a little stronger. It's a lot of, especially the junk envelopes, once you've opened them, not as clean and crisp, right? So if we had forgotten, we could have covered this, glued it top and bottom, glued it in the middle, made it a double, like, little tiny tuck pocket. Not a big deal. Totally not, not a problem. Now, what I did notice, though, we have these weird little pockets. You know what? I'm probably not even going to stress about it because we are closing these up. I'm going to close them both up. Nothing's going inside them. I'm not using the windows in any way because that's a lot of work, and I just don't think I want to do it. And I don't even know if I have the right papers to do so. So we, with all this goo that's coming out, right? We are now going to glue this shut because we're going to cover all the way to the edge anyway. We're going to totally... it's running low on glue, so it's really weird. All right, we're going to just close it up, make it easy, and we're going to cover all the way to the edge anyway. So once I get enough glue going, I can get any glue out. One moment it's raining, the next moment it's feast or famine, right? Okay, so let's get all of us. Oh, now this one we can't glue yet. Hold on one sec. We can glue this side down because nothing's going in here. I could have gotten funky and made it a tuck type of TN journal type something, but no, we won't do that. We're not going to get that complicated. You get too much things tucked into your envelopes, and they do get thin, and they will break, and they will rip because you just have too much going on for such a thin flap. So this one, on the other hand, does need to go about middle here, and because we want to go to the edge of with the paper, we want to make sure when we glue it down, we don't completely tuck it in because we want our paper, inside paper, to go almost to that edge. So seeing a little gold is one thing, but we want to match that fold, and we want to give it that same allowance where I can see the line here, but not so close that still we want to be able to sew into here. So I was going to do it actually originally to where when we did this open along the seam, we could sew into here. But for me to do that, I just realized I am going to have to put washi on the outside. If I don't want to mess with the gold here, I need to put washi on the outside. So that way, if we do sew right into this thing, it's not going to just rip right through. Because, as you know, these envelopes have been sealed or have been folded already so many times. So let's use that scrap and let's cover this seam to make sure that we are not... we may never see this. It's going to get glued down. It's going to get covered fully, all that jazz. But I want to make sure that since it's holding the majority of the weight, that we are giving it everything it needs. Because, we just don't want to mess with that. Hate to do all this beautiful work and have it rip out. Apparently, I'm having issues with this thing today. Oh my goodness. Fingers are not cooperating. Well, they've been painting for the past, I don't know how many days. We've been painting, we've been rearranging. I think yesterday was, no, Saturday, because what did we do yesterday? I have no idea what we did yesterday. Oh, what did we do? Oh yeah, my daughter took the day off technically, from project mode, and she hung out with her boyfriend. They went to the movies, they went to lunch, did some window shopping kind of fun things. Because they haven't, he just came back from his vacation, so they've been away from each other for like, I don't know what, 3 weeks, almost 4. So that was, oh no, yes, gasp. I shouldn't say anything. I remember. It was always heartbreaking going, no, you can't leave me. No. I wouldn't say puppy love, because they've been together for 2 years now. A little past the puppy love stage. We'll see. They both are going off to college, so I don't know. Well, Sammy's doing that at home, but she's college and work. He's off to college, but he's only about 2 hours away. Whoops, I got into that, didn't I? Shoot, I blew it. So it's not too bad. He can easily come home, one of us, and hopefully he's able to get a hold of a little car so he can drive to and from and see her and family, and see his mom and see his sister, and all that every couple weekends, come home and not have to be reliant on friends or family, but we'll see. Okay. But anyway, so they had a day off yesterday. So I worked on stuff with my youngest, and, took care of things around the house. But Saturday was painting, what's the word? Painting shelves. All the shelving units had to be painted. We got them all, put them back up. So today she's filling those. She wanted a break, and I'm like, all right, well, I got plenty to do. So she's doing that. So tomorrow it's the desk and the massive, decorating of things. So I put in there, am I comfortable with gluing the rest of it on without? Yes, I am. Because I want to get the basics covered. I really do. So yeah, no, so I was painting all, shelves on Saturday. We took the day off on Friday. I mean, I did work. I worked Friday, but we didn't do her room on Friday. Wednesday and Thursday were just paint and rearrange and tape and paint, and I think we taped on Tuesday. That was nice. We got paint on Monday or Tuesday, and then Tuesday afternoon we did all the tape work and made sure everything was wiped down and ready to go. So when we got going on Wednesday, we were good to go. But yeah, that girl, I used stuff all morning. I get the other one to practice, and then she is up and running by 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh, to have that luxury, but it's okay. For a little bit longer. She won't have it for too much longer. So yes, I think we decided we're going to go up in the corner, right? We did all that work so we can go into the corner, wedge it in there, make sure it's lined up pretty darn close. So when if I decide to sew anything in here, it lines up. It is a little wonky though. It looks straight here, but not here. Isn't that funny? Well, it is what it is. It looks like it's coming up. Okay, well, that's interesting. After all that, trying to get it to stay put, and it doesn't want to stick. I also notice that glitter glue is not really doing its job. Because if that's the case, well, hold on, let me tweak. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, I have the right line, because I see we have 2 different lines going on. Alright, well, let's just press and hold. I'm like, after all that, it doesn't want to stick, huh? It may be the slickness of the washi tape. But this is a somewhat temporary fix, because truthfully, we may be sewing it in. It looks like everything else is good. Make sure everything opens up. So now I guess I could just glue that down. And why do I use the gold? I may have to do a little inking in that middle section to darken it up, but I am trying to see if we can get it out and hope there's glue in here. You love that when you do it and you're thinking, oh, I put all this glue down, and you're like, it's not sticking. I just think this is too low. But I hate to even, at this point, I just want to put a new top on it. I got a new top, and I have the ordeal, but I'm really wondering if I just need to open up the other glue bottle. Come on. That, or I'm pulling out the fabric tack. It's like, oh, forget it. Though it's a little, that might be a little thing. Yeah, see, there's glue. It's the heat, maybe. Well, we haven't been that warm. We've only been low 70s. Today's one of the first, I think we were let's see, yesterday was mid 70s. It is 80. But, we're only having 2 days of 80-degree weather when the rest of the week's been 70 to 76 at most this upcoming week. So, I'm like, you were 70 to 73 at most last week. Come on. Okay, so we're sort of glued down. But, you know, we're going to glue down more when we actually put cover over this, cover over this. Not going to matter, right? Okay. Let's tuck you in. I know we're using. Now, I glued the other pages together, so I'm wondering if I should do the same here. Let's make sure. Because this one, so I don't get excited and I don't end up accidentally, what's the word? You know, covering something I'm not supposed to, realizing I needed to have it all tucked in place. I did that with one of our last projects. Totally forgot I wanted to put something in place. And I was so bummed because I did. I totally forgot. So I think I'm going to go at a slight angle. I don't know if I can do it on both ends evenly. Because it is cutting a different direction. Let's see if we can do it. Maybe. I want to give it a little bit of a indent here because I know that, you know, it's going to be such a tight fold or fold over that I want to have a little bit of room, right? And then we're also going to put a large clip there, or a large-ish one. I really want to make sure that you can see the fact that there is something in here. I always feel like I have to go upside down with these things. I feel like we're going to ruin the bag if I try to do it this way. Because it's a lot deeper. I don't want to put the one end in. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to look. Hope for the best. And I am going to go pretty decent depth on that one. For the most part, right? And then if whatever we cover with, depending how I cover it, I'm either going to go back in and match it up. I might, you know, I might even trace it and then cut it again so we don't have any issues. Let's ink it a little bit so we can see it. Well, I can actually still get to this pretty easily. It's one thing to put a piece of paper in there, trace it, and pull it back out. But a whole different ballpark when you want to ink something because you just can't get in there. Now I can ink that crevice too, just to give it a little bit more wear and tear look, even though we know it's not. It's pretty new. And go from there. Yeah, it keeps closing. All right. Making messes everywhere, but I'm happy to do so. So there we go. You can see it. It'll let me. So we just made this little notch so that when it's upside down, we can easily see that there's a tab. At least I'll put a tab here of some sort, so we know to pull something out. And I think that's going to make it, you know, definitely easier to tell and more functionable. So I'm trying to get glue everywhere but where I want it. So I don't know if we get much farther than the assembly line of this, but if worst case comes to worst, then I will measure and cut, or I'll cut all the pieces and cover things up and, you know, next time. But we're going to go over a decent amount. I want it pretty here. The outside so we can see what's here. Plus I want to make sure that it wasn't sticking out over here at all. And then this one's pretty easy. This is more just what goes on the outside and how it's like, but we aren't using this one, so we're going to close this one up, right? Best I can. I have to start leaving this one outside just like we do with our fabric tack. I think that's my problem. It's just not getting enough glue to the base. It keeps what little is up there and it wants to glue out, but it doesn't want to actually leave me any glue. Now I could, what's the word? Cheat a little here. Just use a little bit of glue. And then use the pre-sticky. I don't know how well it still works, but we can give it a shot, right? Let's see how it does. All right. That's fine. And so we want to lift this up and put it down below. And winding it up again. I'm still on camera, good. Lining up, make sure there's a nice. There we go. And when we put paper over here, it's going to help seal that one. Just like when we put paper over this section, it's going to seal this. This is going to seal that. Like, it's just going to keep everything sort of hidden and sealed inside itself. So we'll keep that one attached just like we have this one. This needs to stay tacked in here somewhere. I'll pull it out as we need to, but I just don't want to forget. That's my fun little tucked in element. All right, so now I believe, for the most part, like I said, so if we were going to put something in here, either we can put it on this side, which that just occurred to me. Yeah, we're going to cover this, and I may put like a large lace pocket here. But yes, we would put, this would be in front of the journal, just like we have this flip out in the front of the book. Front of the cover, we'd have this flip out in front of the journal pages. So we'd open here, do all this fun stuff over here, and the journal would be here. Now we can either have the journal with this tucked underneath it, or the journal can be, you know, encased or sort of kept in place with this flap, which not a bad idea. Have it here, and this would just sort of sit over top of it. So we'll see that I might even end up, you know, maybe folding this one more time as sort of a slight gusset to help take that in. But I don't think we're gonna go super thick with the journal inside, but you never know. Okay, so there's that. So now it's getting floofy. It's getting floofy because we have two separate, you know, and this being as thick as it is in its own right, we're going to add paper to it. I wonder if it's to go too much. I said, well, that could sort of be fun. And having it, oh no, that's right, wrong side. Yeah, it would bend. Nope, never mind. I'm like, wrong way. I'm all, nope, that's probably the best place to put it. It just makes it thicker in here, so we'll make it as less poofy as possible. So this is the bottom, this is up above, nice and fluffy. All right, how are we doing for time? Have I gotten anywhere worthwhile? 51 minutes already. That didn't take long, did it? Okay, well, I could pause here for a second. Let me measure. Maybe I'll write measurements. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Hate to not do that part with you. I know it's sort of the big deal, but we were constructing our journal cover with our flip out envelope and pockets, right? We have all these beautiful things that we wanted to work with. We want to make sure they're in place so that we can cover accordingly and make sure that we have all the proper flaps in place so that as we work with things, you know, whether it's a pocket this way, a pocket in the envelope, pocket on top of the envelope, we have what we need ready to go. So it is what it is, right? So here, I'll start working on some measurements. Now, of course, each measurement is going to be different according to what you do, like what you want to cover. So this is almost 6 inches, give or take. It's like 15/16, 5 15/16. If I go 3/4, I give a little bit of border, whether we want it or not, right? And here, this one is fine. It covers everything when I do that. There's nothing to see on the front one, so I think we can go 5 3/4 across, and we can go same sort of thing. Maybe we'll cut up 1/4 inch short. That is exactly 9 3. No, 9 1/2. Yeah, 9 1/2. So if I go 9 1/4, it's definitely a wider, because this one we're just barely, like I'm going down to the 3/4 mark, and it's not a whole lot. It's like 1/8 of an inch or so all the way around, so I really don't need a lot left over. I need very little. So though that is 9 1/2, 9 5/8, 6/8, let's see, no, yeah, 9 1/2, so 1 2 3/8. 9 3/8 I think will be fine. Okay, so we're going to do that for that, which I'm hoping then, if we go, same thing, that's 6, so if I go down to 5/8, we're going to see a little bit of brown over here, right? We'll just ink the other edges really good. And I think we can do the same thing there. And I think, yeah, we're just going to sort of settle the same way. We're going to go 3/8. We're going to center it. And it's barely. 3/8 actually really leaves us very little. Yeah, 3/8 leaves us very little in the back. Is this front one somehow wider, or am I just losing my mind? 3/8. No, it's a very thin, very thin. Okay. So I think front and back we can do 9 3/8 and 5 3/4, and we're barely going to see any white. I will heavily ink the edges on the front and back so that we really don't, so we can sort of blend the idea that this is brown here and we're sort of browning up the white, so as to not be so obvious. Okay, that way I can barely ink this and we're good. Now, if it bugs me, doesn't mean we can't put lace through here to blend in that brown. What brown we can see, we can cover with lace on this outer piece. To make it a fun here, we can give it a little bit of the lace with our collaging for this cover. Not the end of the world. Now, inside, what is our inside? Our inside is, if I go on the edge to the edge, is 6 again. So again, 5 3/8, where we're only going to see, 5 3/8, that's 4/8. What did I write? Oh, 3/4. Okay, that would be why. So 3/4. Yeah, it doesn't give us a whole lot. We're going to see some gold here, but we're going to get some white here, so I make sure I ink this in the line, ink this very heavily in the line. We'll heavily ink that so that, I mean, we could do 5 3/4, and I can go a little closer inward and leaving a bigger hem over on this end. But I think 5 3/4 is still doable to go this way. And again, we are, yeah, just shy of 9.5. So, if we go down to the 3/8 mark again, it's really the same kit and caboodle where we're not giving ourselves a lot, which is fine. We have all these little lines up here. So 9 3/8, which is so hard to see in all of my doohickey here because this thing is fading. But 1 2 3. It's like its own quarter before the half mark, so I think 9 3/8 is going to work fine there, which I'm hoping then, if we're going to go up against that line, I'm just going to ink anything white really good, so that it's not so obvious. Now, I have a gold Sharpie. I wonder if that would work. We have to do a test run. We'll have to do on a piece of paper. If the gold Sharpie sort of helps, I may do the gold on this, do that, and in that line we may do a gold Sharpie here to help hide the fact that gold doesn't go where we need to, doesn't go everywhere we want it to go. So we'll make do with that. How's that? All right, that's a thought. We'll do gold Sharpie there. So then on the same thing, I believe, if I get into that crevice, yeah, we're 6. So everything, because it's the same size envelopes. We're not doing anything too crazy. Everything is going to be 5 3/4 by 9 3/8, to make sure that, we are covering a majority of this and hiding as much of this as we can. This one's a little harder to cover in lace, but that doesn't mean, a little lace on the top section here and a cluster could happen if I felt this was just sticking out too much. The craft was actually sticking out too much against the white. Couldn't get enough ink. That's where we can play a little bit with laces and clusters and bands and stuff. So totally doable. So I'm gonna let you guys go. We've got to start. We're gonna do this gorgeous cream and brown on the inside because I think we have a lot going on, and so I think it'd be nice to have, we're gonna do this darker corner up here up against this because this is gonna have some color. And then I think we're going to use, which I should have flipped them around, I didn't even think about it. Well, it would be sort of a continuation if I did it that way. I could use this corner up here, use this corner over here, and it would feel a little bit more continuous across the top. Or even do it reverse, where we have more of the heavier color on the bottom. And really, it's just, they just sort of overlap, where really, it's almost continuous as they meet in the middle here. So it looks like the browns across the bottom. And that leaves us these cute strips on top to help us collage over here in a couple spots. So, okay, we'll go bottom and the inside there. Love, love, love. Keep it upright. And then the back I'm not so worried about, but the front here, I did flip these around when I printed them. Or they're different a little bit in their spacing. but I wanted to see what I wanted to see and not be able to see and not see, and where would I want our prettier elements. So if that's there, I'm wondering, oh, it doesn't go all the way over. I could do it where it gets covered by that no matter what. Well, that doesn't work unless I go bottom. Let's see, come up some. It still covers that. But it's pretty when you open it, so I take that back. So this goes here. This lets me know about here is where the page comes off. Pretty light around it, so it doesn't really compete too much. And when you open this flap, we get this beautiful, this cluster here. And this one gets cut off, but this will be a nice strip. Great for maybe whatever bookmarks or whatever. It's going to work nicely. So I think we're going to go that direction with that one. And then I can totally decide whatever I would like. I know one's upside down no matter what you do. So we can go this way again on that end. Inside end. So that way if we did cover this over here with any lace, we're not really taking up, you know, much of the design. This is going to be a great place to put some lace. Not a big deal. Give it some edge. This is pretty in its own right. And it's all said and done. Now, I just realized, though, when I was doing this thought process, if I was going to do a lace pocket, my brown across the bottom, my lace pocket would totally cover it. So, I know sometimes I'm weird about putting heavier on top. I think that when it overlaps in the way it does, the heavy stuff's going to be underneath this one. We'll have some brown up here, and I'm not as heavy down here, and a lace pocket would make sense. We can do a little bit of something darker here and have that work. So never mind. We go that way with it. Oh, I know. Decisions, options, and options. I know, I love people who can just throw it on there and go, I'm just putting down wherever it lands. Oh, I wish I had that carefree thought process. I don't. Oh, I don't. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me, liking, loving, commenting, notifications, subscribing, hitting your bell alert so you know when I come up with something new. I'm working on a new project or continuing on with an old one. You are getting all the proper notifications and you know exactly what's going on as we work on this lovely, silly new autumn envelope journal with flip out designs with envelopes so that everything has some play. You know, and if you watch me, you know, I like to sort of have some interactive pieces where you're messing with it, you're opening it, you're playing with it, you're flipping it in and out, up and down, and hopefully pulling a few cute things out of the inside of it as I whack into you. Again, flipping up, opening up, tucking in, flipping out, and hopefully we'll have a small, somewhat naked journal here, so you have some writing. I'm loving these more sort of stationary, secretarial pieces where they have all these different pieces and things in them that you can use and play with, and some writing to go with it. So loving it all. So when you come back, I will have the covers in place for sure, and I will have all these pieces hopefully maybe chosen and cut out so we can glue them down and do some decor with lace and trims and things like that. You can help me cover these up, but I will have those better selected. Even though I have some ideas, I'll have them better selected and ready to go. So thank you so much for assembling with me today. And we will be back hopefully on Thursday, and maybe we'll go all the way to Saturday with this one as we really sort of fine tune and decorate elements of it and get those things going. And then next week, I'm thinking about doing a little mass making of some fabric Amazon bag journals, and who knows what else. So back and forth, on and off, we're going to work on all of that. So love you all very much. Thank you again, and we'll talk real soon. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.